This week's episode of SmackDown, on the whole, I'd say was an easy show to watch. I think enough stuff happened and enough stuff of note went down for the show to be worthwhile. So if you did not see SmackDown for this week, personally, I'd recommend checking out this final chapter, no holds barred match between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. I thought how they did that was really good, how they worked that match and everything to do with it. So that was good. Also think the whole thing with Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, the opening segment, the main event match, I thought all that was really good, mainly because I'm a big fan of the personnel involved. I think Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso are all fantastic, so I really enjoyed that stuff. The rest of the show, the Carmella and Sasha Banks thing, it was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't overly amazing by any means. The stuff with Otis and Ziggler was completely skippable. The Sami Zayn Apollo Crews match was alright, and that was literally about it for SmackDown. So, yeah, that's the November 13th episode of SmackDown. Before I get into anything further, a few things I want to talk about. First off, tomorrow, I've got a pretty jokes video coming called my What Culture Job Application, which, that's a bit of fun. It's a reasonably short little video, something for you guys to enjoy. So that's coming tomorrow, and maybe the day after, or I don't know when I'm going to post this, but I've got another video coming titled What Happened to NXT. So that one's a 15-minute open discussion dialogue about NXT. If you're excited for that video, smash the like button on this one. I don't know, hit the like button anyway. The likes are always appreciated. It helps the video get seen by more people, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, as for SmackDown tonight, November 13th, 2020, they're really on the build to Survivor Series. This show, especially with the McIntyre stuff, what it felt like, this is what it felt like for me watching it. It's as though WWE got to, not a dead end in the Jey Uso Roman Reigns storyline, but they got to a point last week where they were like, what can we really do to advance this? Because Jey Uso is now aligned with Roman Reigns. Reigns is now the tribal chief of Jey Uso, and Jey Uso is eating at Reigns' table, so to speak. So Jey Uso now has fallen in line. Where do you go from here? Because Survivor Series, it's basically like a exhibition match type show. You've got these inter-brand matches that really, in the grand scheme of things, aren't going to mean a whole hell of a lot. You have Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns for the inter-brand Universal versus WWE title match. That's the big match at Survivor Series, Orton versus Reigns. A match which we saw 5 times back in 2014, so that's the match we're looking forward to there. The opening segment, they had Roman Reigns come out with Paul Heyman. Reigns was talking about how irrelevant Monday Night Raw is, which I love that, saying that, no one watches Monday Night Raw. That got a kick out of me. I love that opening bit with the Reigns promo. Reigns talking about how, because he's the head of the table and because he's doing what he needs to do on SmackDown, the viewership's rolling in, people are tuning in to see this, and he brings in ratings, and that Reigns is a draw, and really boosting himself up. Paul Heyman's there, accompanying Reigns. It looked really good, the whole segment. So that was that. Then Drew McIntyre came out. So we had McIntyre come out. McIntyre talks about how he destroyed Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and Paul Heyman was quivering when he said that. So I thought the McIntyre-Reigns interaction was really good. Personally, I would have rather be seeing McIntyre versus Reigns at Survivor Series. I think a lot of people would, because Reigns versus Orton, it's going to be a good match, but given there's not really any stakes, unless they make stakes to that match, there's not really anything really on the line. So McIntyre versus Reigns just seems like a more compelling match, because McIntyre has been the face of Raw for literally 2020 as the WWE Champion, and Reigns has been the face of SmackDown for the last few months. So that's the more ideal match, but we're not getting it, at least just yet. Anyway, we've got the main event match, Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso. I was really invested in this match. I really enjoyed it. I think McIntyre and Jey Uso, whichever one of these guys WWE is going to have win, I was going to be fine with it, because both guys are really good and both guys are capable. I think the ending they did was good. They had Roman Reigns come down, holding the title, looking intense, looking determined. Paul Heyman is accompanying him. And so from there, Reigns comes down. Then we have McIntyre get distracted by Reigns. Jey Uso hits McIntyre from behind, throws him into the steps, throws him back into the ring. Jey Uso gets hit with a claymore from Drew McIntyre. 1, 2, 3. So Roman Reigns is pissed, he's angry as Drew McIntyre defeats Jey Uso. Really enjoyed that stuff. I thought, as far as a Survivor Series build, that's really good. The only thing I wish is that it was McIntyre versus Orton at Survivor Series, and who knows, maybe we're going to see that, because next Monday on Raw we have Orton versus McIntyre for the WWE title. maybe Drew McIntyre's winning the title. I think what they did tonight was a good way of trying to tease that he might. So, yeah, it waits to be seen. But yeah, assuming Orton versus Reigns is the Survivor Series match, I don't really care. So that's the kind of main event stuff. As for the rest of the show, Otis versus Dolph Ziggler, not even going to cover it. I could not care less. I could not care less. So that was that. We had this match also, Fatal 4-Way match, Liv Morgan versus Tamina versus Natalya versus Chelsea Green. Okay, Liv Morgan won the match, and that's really about it. I mean, that's like all I have to say. It was a okay Fatal 4-Way, and that's about it. So that was that. As for other stuff on this show, the whole Carmella, Sasha Banks thing. Sasha Banks, the women's champion, came out, started to cut a promo. Bayley got involved, and Carmella attacked Sasha Banks. That's really all there is to talk about because, last week Carmella attacked Sasha Banks. This week Carmella attacked Sasha Banks. Do I personally care to see a hopefully not 3 pay-per-view long feud between Carmella and Sasha Banks? Personally, I'm okay with it. Carmella's fine. As a wrestler, I don't mind Carmella. I'm not against Carmella. I'm not a fan of Carmella. I kind of nothing Carmella. She's on TV, but I don't really care. So that's the women's title picture. As for the Intercontinental title, Apollo Crews, Sami Zayn, I thought what they did with this was quite good. It's Apollo Crews, it's Sami Zayn. It's a good IC title match. Really nothing else to say about it. Sami Zayn got the win, was what it was. Then the last thing I'll talk about, the final chapter, Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. This thing, they finally culminated, I feel like. The whole Rollins and Mysterio match, this got ample time. This happened in the middle of the show, and this got ample time. We had Aaliyah Mysterio, we had Angie Mysterio, we had Rey, obviously, in the match. We had Dominic getting involved, we had Murphy, we had Seth Rollins, obviously, in the match. Really good stuff. The storytelling was pretty good. I think, given that this feud's been going on for 5 months, or 6 months, or whatever it is, it's now November, and it's been going since May, so yeah, 6 months. I'm completely over this. Hopefully, this is the actual end of it, because pretty much what happened was, basically, Rey Mysterio beats Seth Rollins, so Seth Rollins is getting ridden off TV, presumably. They do the stuff with, the chair getting involved. There's, a betrayal of Rollins, so Murphy betrays Rollins. A 619 gets delivered, and then there's a frog splash from Rey for the win on Eddie Guerrero's 15th anniversary of Eddie's passing, which, also, I want to say, if you haven't seen Bonafide Heat's Eddie Guerrero video, that thing is phenomenal. Just an amazing video, such a genuine video. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. So yeah, anyway, this match, Rey Mysterio gets the win, 15th anniversary of Eddie Guerrero's passing. Couldn't have really written it much better. So yeah, overall, SmackDown was good, wasn't incredible, but it was a good show for what it was. Yeah, enjoy the video, like, comment, subscribe, and drill. See ya.